with Courtenay. Again, this Thursday. It's currently the 26th of June. I'm wishing my time away. I'm bringing to you some more of the, I just love it. We're using this paper at my class on the weekend. This is the Kintsugi, I'll say it really badly, designer series paper. It's from the suite. It's absolutely beautiful. It means golden joinery. And when something's broken, it's not really broken. So this is the paper. We saw it the other day. There's some gems that go with it. So I've got those in my hot little hand as well. The colours in this suite are our basic white, of course. Did I bring over the piece of paper that tells me? No, I didn't. So we'll need to go back over here. The colours in this paper happen to be, where are we? Basic beige, cloud cover gold, lost lagoon, misty moonlight, old olive, and petal pink. So we did look at it the other week, but we're going to be looking at it again. So I will just click this magic button up here that's not going to work for me. So Instagram is having a conniption. It's not going to play. So we'll just ditch that idea. Hopefully you're seeing me on either Facebook or on YouTube. Feel free to have a say hi in the chat. If you're watching on replay, feel free to say hi. We'll come back to you. I've got a couple of colours on the table, but I've got some designer series paper, and this is the one I cut a piece out of last week, but we're not going to use it. So what we did on the weekend, I just want to show you a couple of things. There was a demonstrator event on the weekend, and we made some cards with some new stuff that's coming out, and this was one of them. And I thought this paper would be perfect for this as well. So I thought we could either make one of these. This is another card. This is actually all designer series paper, so it's quite pretty. This unties for our card, and there is our card. How gorgeous is that? All right, and then we can tie our bow back up. All right, and that's made to fit. That I tweaked it to make it fit in our envelopes. Okay, so you can make that out of any piece of designer series paper. This designer series paper would probably be quite pretty for that. And then on the back, I just popped another matching piece. This one here was really pretty, and look, it's got a secretive pocket. Bit of fun. And then afterwards, we were playing, and I thought, I'm going to make some. We saw one of the examples that they showed us, because they showed us heaps of examples. We made this one I made this one as well, because I just thought, oh, I can keep playing. So using that inspiration, I've decided to use it with this designer series paper. So we're going to have a play from there. So I brought over with me a basic white and an envelope. And this is Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to cut a card front with the Misty Moonlight. Now, I've already got, those that come and craft with me know, yeah, in the designer series paper, it is stunning, isn't it? There's so many different things that you can do with this, Kath. I just love it. So I cut all my basic white up ready to go, so I've just got little packs of it everywhere. So I'm just going to cut a piece of Misty Moonlight to go with that as a base, but I'm going to cut two, because when I make a white card, I can tell you now, I like to do on the inside as well. Okay, so I'm just going to cut these guys so that I've got two essentially card fronts for these to sit on, just because I like to have a little bit of a border around them. Okay, so there's one for my inside and one for my outside. Now, this one here has used a piece of cardstock that has been embossed, and a piece of design series paper on the bottom, and the new glittery designer paper. Hi Cheryl, new glimmer that's coming. The glimmer that's coming is 3 different tones of blue, and it's just lovely, because we all know we like that. But this little guy, these are really quick and easy, and we got some gems. So I thought I'm going to remake this one with this paper. Okay, so let's do that. So you need to pick out 3 different pieces. And this, I find, this would be a fabulous way to make a lot of cards really quickly and use up our scraps, all that sort of stuff. But we're going to actually make scraps today because we're going to do them in that respect. So I'll just fold my piece of cardstock in half. And I'm sorry about all the shadows. It's quite, I had to turn the lights on. It's cold and it's dark and it's, I don't know about you lot. Hi, Lowell. Now I've got a mark on there because that was obviously on my map. So guess what? That just became the front. Okay. So I really like this card, and there's so many different pieces in here that are just going to be fabulous with it. Okay. Now I did bring a stamp set over, didn't I? Don't tell me I didn't, but surely I did. Yes, there it is. It's all the way. It's all up here. I've started. I don't know what you guys. Oh, man. I've started popping, when I get my folders, I've started popping them in the back of my stamp set. So not the folder as such, but just the piece of paper that comes with them so that I've got it for later when I sell them, but also so I've got it so I know who goes with who. My auntie puts her dies in her inside here, but I like having them in their little folder thing. Yes, it is, it's freezing. Okay, so we need to pick a couple of colours. They're all just so pretty. And the gold that's featured on them just makes it so much nicer. So we need to have, I think we need to have a little bit of one of this piece. And because we need a bit of gold on it, so I'm just going to trim. Oh, it's pretty on the back too. I'm just going to cut these to 1.5 centimetres. Yeah. If you work in inches, you can do it in what? It's probably too skinny. I've got another scrap. Let's make it 2 centimetres. All right, that's a bit better. All right. Yeah. And pick a piece along it that gives you a nice bit of gold. I mean, it takes away from it being a scrap and needing a scrap. So we've got that piece. What else do we need? Who else do we need? There is, I saw this piece. I love this piece. All right. So ladies will be using this piece, using this designer series paper on the weekend. And see, it's quite pale on that side. I use red tape to stick the die to it. Ah, that's a good idea. Yes, I love all these ideas. So there's that piece, and what else other piece can we use? There's the white. I'm just going to pull out, I know I've used, there it is, this piece here. Look at that. How fabulous is that? It just, there's some nice things that you can do with it. I just want to show you how quick, and if you're not a demonstrator, you wouldn't have been able to go to this event because Stampin' Up runs quite a few demonstrator-only events. That's another perk of being a demo. You're most welcome to join. Anybody can join. It's a club that anybody can join. Okay. All right. So what we need is these pieces here. We're going to have 3 of them. We're going to use a gap in the middle. Now, there's actually some really pretty sentiments on there. Thanks for helping me through this difficult time. It's a really nice one if you're sending a message to someone that has been helping you. Okay. You inspire me. There's beauty in our history. They all have meaning with this stamp and with the background that this stamp came from. But there's nothing stopping us from grabbing another stamp set and using a different sentiment like this with deeper sympathy. All right, so I'm going to do that because I can. And I'm going to grab this one here. This is Beautiful Motifs. All right. Any stamp set, I'm going to use this You've Been on My Mind. Any stamp set that you use, you need to make sure that there's enough of a gap in the middle here for your sentiment. So photopolymer stamp sets are perfect for this. So You've Been on My Mind is going to fit quite nicely in between there. So I'm just going to put it on a block so it doesn't develop some legs. All right. Now I know I've got a little mark here, but that's going to be okay because what I've done here is I pulled over that piece is going to sit under there and it's going to hide that mark. Okay. Hi Chris, how you going? Oh gosh, we've got everybody here. See, and the other good thing about, you can use any sentiment. So this one's a sympathy card. This one's going to be a just I'm thinking of you card, and all of that sort of stuff. So, you know, nice. Working out, these guys need to be approximately, let me see, measure that, 9 centimeters. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can see that they've actually got like a torn edge. Okay. There's a little bit of blending on them to zhuzh it up a bit. So I'm just going to tear that at 9 centimeters. This one here, I've got to decide what end I want. And I'm thinking, because of the way it's going, I'm going to go down this end and I'm going to tear it here. Okay. So those 3 pieces are going to become my feature pieces. Now, they look beautiful, both sides, but I want to feature the gold. The gold is such a pretty colour when it's teamed up with Misty Moonlight. All right. So the card that we did on the weekend, we started with our lightest colour, our medium colour, and then our dark. So I'm thinking that I'll do that one there as my medium, and I'm going to push it around that way. Okay. Now, if you find that they're a little bit too long, hi Paula, hey Pauline, how you going? That Paul's on there is really distracting me. You can shorten them because you've just torn them. This will be a great card for you, Pauline. Okay. And if you wanted to, you could add another layer. You could add an extra one. So there's nobody saying that you only have to do 3. So if we wanted to, we could add a thinner one, a thicker one. Where's that thin one gone? We could actually add a thin line as well. So let's, do you know what? Let's do that. And we're going to add it in that peachy colour. Okay. So take your inspiration from wherever you find it. All right. Nobody said it all had to be the same. What things, when you're doing things like this, has to happen is things have to be straight. So that is where this mat or a ruler, a T-square ruler type thing, is going to be handy. Now, because we want to work out where we're going to put our sentiment, we're going to I want to actually have 3 of these up the top and 1 down the bottom. So my sentiment is going to sit here as such, because then I'm going to cut out one of those, either some cups or, yeah, you can knock these out really quick. You're going to cut out some cups, or you're going to cut out some the vases, whatever floats your boat. You can even stamp some. That's okay. All right. But I just think and that's what's going to feature over here. Or have you seen these guys? Look at these little flowers. They're fabulous. Okay. So we'll just glue this together. This one here is going to be a knock it out fast, and then I'll show you one where we tiz it up a bit. All right. So I'm just going to glue these guys down. Okay. Now using my lines on my grid mat here as a guide to get my first one down. Okay. And then this one here on the bottom, it's actually going to go over this way because I want that end over here. Okay. And I'm going to pop a little bit. All right, so now I need to just make sure, I'm going to line it up too. And you'll see I've got 2, it works out as about 1 centimetre from the bottom, from the top. So I'm going to do about 1 centimetre from the bottom as well, just so that we're relatively even. Okay. So I've got 1 centimetre at either end because these are 0.5 centimetre each, these lines. Okay. then those two are going to sit like that with a bit of a gap in the middle. You can make it a bigger gap, you can make it a little gap. It's up to you. All right. You've been, and depending on the size of your sentiment depends on how big that gap is. So thank you for everything. If I was putting that one in there, for example, I can actually make it so that it's almost the same size as these. Okay, so it just depends on what sentiment you want. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, so these are going to get stuck down quite quickly. Actually, that one will probably look a bit better. Let's take this one away. What do you reckon? I think that blue one will pop a little bit better. What do you think? Now, because I want to use, which end do I want that to? I want it to sit at that end, about 9 centimeters. That's about there. Okay. If you've got your blending brush here, you can add a little bit of extra colour with your blending brush, just to give it a bit of extra depth. Okay, so it looks like it's just a little bit different. All right. Okay, so let's glue these guys down so that we can just show you how quick this comes together. All right. And to me, that's a directional print, and that directional print has to sit in that particular hook, sticking up particularly like that. Okay, and I'm using the last one as a guide, and this is the one that doesn't have any gold on it. But my directional print is going to go like that, and that gap is relatively similar. Okay, so got those guys on there. Let's stamp our sentiment before we do too much else. Okay, and I'm going to stamp it in Misty Moonlight. This is a new set, and I want to go like that, just so I can make sure that we are straight. Got to hold your tongue in the right position. Okay, you've been on my mind because you're fabulous. Now, one of the other colours in here is basic beige. Now, there's no, in this suite, we've got our suite special on at the moment. In this suite, there is no ribbon. However, there's not stopping you from adding some basic beige ribbon to the suite. And I am going to, because we do have this beautiful basic beige. It's a classic ribbon. It's quite soft. It will colour beautifully if you want to colour it. You can colour it with the ink. You can colour it with the Stampin' Blends. The choice is yours. Okay. We are going to cut out a pot that's going to go beautifully with this. There's a lot of them that are going to go beautifully. Now, because we've got this little bit of this, it's a peach pie. What colour are you? I want to say peach, but it's not. It is petal pink. Oh, my least favourite colour. I'm going to cut this one here out. So you don't have to cut these out. You can fussy cut them out. You can send them through the cut and emboss machine. The choice is yours. But these are made so that if you do decide to cut them on the cut and emboss machine, they won't have a white edge. And that's the look that I'm going for this time, rather than stamping it. Okay. So these, if you didn't watch last time, these guys, these and these will all cut out with our, what's that called? Cut and emboss machine, and our dies. So I'm just going to get out of my cut and emboss machine, out of here. We need this guy. All right. Okay, just so that we can cut that. Right. Like that, or you could sit in front of the telly and fussy cut them. because fussy cutting can be quite therapeutic. I know Amanda will not agree with me, and I know there's other people that don't find fussy cutting therapeutic. Where's my lid to my glue? That's okay. It's just going to have to sit there. So I know that other people don't like it, but I actually find it quite therapeutic, and I quite like it when you're sitting in front of the telly and cutting things. So we're using this paper on the weekend as part of our class. So this is not going to be a class card, but it's just another example. So I've got a few examples up for the ladies to see. Look at that pot. It looks nice with its silver dye around it, but look how fabulous does that look. Okay. And that is just going to look quite amazing just by itself sitting on there. If you wanted to add flowers, you can. If you wanted to add another pot, you can. Or another cup, you can. Just for something a little bit different. Let's add this one. I should have cut them both out at the same time. So we've done minimal stamping so far, but we haven't done our inside or our envelope. Okay. Should we do it? We'll cut out a flower at the same time, just because we can. I'll show you how nice that flower is cut out too. It just looks stunning. This paper is absolutely stunning. So it's got so many things going for it. Initially, I thought, oh, yeah, probably not. But then I really like it when we've got, this specialty designer series paper and it's got gold in it. I don't know. I'm a bit of a sucker for it, I'm afraid. So it's not a bad thing, but, you know, you know how it is. Oh, I need the little cuppy thing. Like a little bowl, isn't it? Rather than a cup. Would you call it a bowl or a cup? If you stand them all on top of each other and sort of stack them, they can all look like cups, let me tell you. Ah, look how sweet does that look. Now let's see how badly I can cut these guys out. I can do one at a time perfect, but when I try and get more than one at a time in there, they just seem to muck up on me. So I feel like I'm playing with fire here. Okay. I still haven't replaced my mats, as you can all see. Oh yeah, that's a little bit dodgy, but that's okay. Nobody knows. When I say it's a little bit dodgy, it's a little bit high up. So you can see that my leaves at the bottom here, there's a bit too much gap, and there's no gap at the top. Oh, it's very white. It's a very pale flower. Okay, so bring my card back in. And I want to put some ribbon in here. Now this ribbon, this one that frays, oh, it is, but it's not going to fray the way I want it to fray. No. Okay, this ribbon doesn't fray nicely, whereas some others do. So we just experimented with that. So nice and quick and easy card. We'll just slap this on the front. I know what I didn't do that I wanted to do. Those other ones were raised up. Okay, these ones aren't, but that's right. At the moment, this card's very flat to me, so I'm going to have to add some dimension to it because these should have been raised up, but that's all right. Let's pop that on there. So we've added, so yeah, so if you see something that you like, there's nothing stopping you going, okay, how am I going to, what else do I like about that? What do I like about that? What can I tweak with that? Because I actually really like that. So these guys are going to sit like so, because I want that one to be the feature. However, I'm going to tuck that flower in there like it's in that cup. Just because I can, because that's really pretty. Now, I don't have it with me. Where's my crafting blade? Okay, I don't have my take your pick tool that's got the crafting blade on the end of it, but I do have a blade here. So let me show you, where is that mat? You need your piercing mat to do this. So this is just a scalpel, all right? These are pots that if you go like so with your scalpel, I'm literally cutting a hole in my pot because I want to shove the flower through it. Okay, and I can do it with either one, but I want to shove that flower through there. Now you could just stick it on and it will, it's so bright. You could just stick it on, but it's going to like cut off the bottom and stick it on. But yeah, if you do get it a little bit too, I'm thinking I want to trim it. If you do find that you do trim it a little, your die cutting's not as close as you'd like, you can come around and you can fix it. The person that you're giving your beautiful handmade card to is going to be none the wiser that it wasn't supposed to look like that. They're going to think it was supposed to look like that. Okay, so just be aware of that. We need some ribbon here. Quite frequently, I'll use little bits of ribbon just as a feature piece. They don't need to be huge, but I just really like to have fibre on there. So you might see me mention a scrap of ribbon. This to me is a scrap of ribbon. You might have tied a bow and it's just gone that wee bit too, you've got a big bow in the middle and then you've got this dangly end. Don't necessarily throw those dangly ends away. So I'm thinking that bit's going to sit down here like so. Just hold that in place because I want to put my pot and my cup on there, but I've just got to work out where I want that ribbon before I stick it down. I'll just shove this bit in here. Because I want that ribbon. That ribbon's going to be doing a couple of things, but I want to hide the end of it. All right, no, it's not going that way. It's got to go that way. Yep, okay. So work out where you want to put your ribbon, and then with this piece of ribbon, you can use your tear tape to hold it down. All right. So because I want it up there, and I'm going because it's going to end up hidden, I can just put a piece of tear tape along it like so. Okay, so it's going to end up hidden under that pot and this one here. That pot's going to get raised up. This pot is going to be sitting behind it like so. Like it's sitting further back on the shelf. It's going to be flatter, but it's still going to be raised because you'll see it's sort of sitting on that piece of paper there, on that bit of ribbon. I'll just put a little bit of glue under here to hold this flower still, essentially. Okay, let's tweak it where I want it to sit. All right, and let's put some dimensionals under there. This is although it's the piece that's going to be at the back, it still needs dimensionals that we're putting it on first because it's going to impact on where everything else lands. Okay, take your pick tool. Gosh, I was making a video for a tutorial group I belong to, and I didn't have my take your pick tool with me, and it was so frustrating. So this one is going to sit there, and it's going to go, I do like to push them over the edge. See what I mean? So it's gone over the edge of my border. And then this one here is going to sit up here. Now, when you put this one here on, I've got to be careful that I don't stick dimensionals under that part of where that is. So the dimensionals are going to come down around the bottom and up this side. You can use the smaller dimensionals if you would like. But you just got to make sure that it's not going to, because you don't want to double dimensional those bits. Okay, and it's going to sit supported on this piece here. Okay, hang on. It's just such pretty paper. Okay, and then we need some, to bring these bits of gold through, we just need a couple of little gold gems, just because this person's been on our mind. I think this is the first week in a few that I haven't actually been specifically making a card for someone in particular. And I'm just going to use, these gems are really nice. I'm just going to use 3 gems on there just because I can. Okay. Now with our inside, because we've got this flower here on our outside, we need our inside to match. So what we're going to bring, that there is our Lost Lagoon and our petal pink. So we're going to bring over this is our Subtles collection of markers. This is a photopolymer stamp set, yes. This is not one that we would normally do this with. I would normally do this with red rubber, but you know what? I'm risking it today. So, as they say, I actually think that this block's too big for this. So let me see. I've got a smaller one here. Yep. Is she going to fit on there? Oh, just. Okay. So I need a card inner, again from my little stash. All right. Now, I would normally do red rubber direct to my stamp rather than the photopolymer. So this one here is Petal Pink and this one here is Lost Lagoon. Do your lighter colour first. Oh, hey Pauline, how you going? So my flower is my lighter colour and I'm just literally running it over there. The reason why I don't normally do it with the photopolymer is because the photopolymer has a tendency to balls up a bit and not play nice. If it's going to do that, you won't be able to see it when you use your Petal Pink on there. You might be able to see it when we do our Lost Lagoon. Just get my, always do your lighter colour first, and that is because then you won't put ink on your light marker. Like in this case, my light marker didn't end up with Lost Lagoon on it. Now, I find the photopolymer balls up a bit, so it may not give us a very good image, but we'll see how we go. So I'm just going to huff on it, and then I'm going to stamp it. And see, it's a bit watery-like, but you know what? It still looks nice, and it's still quite pretty. Okay, and that will make a very nice inside. It will also make a very nice envelope, which happens to be here, but then so will our vases. Okay, so you can use a vase, do the same thing, whatever floats your particular boat. But I just thought that the flowers were nice. And I think it needs more than one. So we'll do it again. So we're putting ink direct to the, in this case, photopolymer, direct onto the stamp. If you find it is ballsing up a lot, you can put a little bit of Versamark on your stamp first, and the Versamark will stick, the ink will stick to the Versamark, which will just make it a little bit, make it so that it's not so, like it doesn't roll as much, for want of a better way of putting it. Okay. And again, oh. Huff it. And there's another one. Okay. So I'm going to put one of these on the front of my envelope. So again, you get to watch me colouring the stamp. And you can barely see the Petal Pink one, you can barely see it when I'm putting it onto the stamp. So I'm going over it a couple of times because I'm not sure if I've got all the bits of it, but that's okay. I must admit it's easier to see them on the red rubber as well than it is on the photopolymer. Okay. Oh, that looks fabulous. if I do say so myself. Okay. So that piece is going to go on the inside. Now, the other thing that makes this look a little bit more stepped up, just move everything out of the way. Actually, it'll work nicely on that as well. Is there's a thing that you can do with these that just turns out pretty. Now, one thing I want to do is I don't want it on here. So where's the Post-it note? I don't want it on this piece. So you get a Post-it note. You can actually cut it out so that it doesn't go where you don't want it to. So you can cut out this shape and you can put it over the top and then it won't go on it. But I'm actually just going to do that. All right. And then with your brush end, so the thick end, okay, the thin end is actually your bullet tip. There's nothing stopping you from flicking it like so. And I'm just literally flicking it against the brush against the end of my lid. Or if you don't want to flick it because it can wreck your brush, you can do that. That spreads further. So just so you know, all right, I'm just putting some little flicks and it just stops the paper from being just that extra bit white. This you have a bit more control of, but you have to be careful you don't get too close because you also don't want to accidentally flick down and touch your card, because I've been there, done that as well. All right. So I don't know, for those that have been around long enough, remember we actually had some designer series paper, or actually it was cardstock for bases, and it had like these little bits of, come on, it's fuzzy. See how it's got the little flecks on it? It just changes the dynamics. So, and it's got that on the front as well. Okay. Now this piece, because my card is white on the inside, I could just stick that in, but to me it looks wrong. So we're going to make it a little bit more bang for your buck. Okay, I've actually been selling some cards at work because my boss really likes them, which is it makes me feel good that they like them. But I've been selling some of my cards at work. But what makes it really nice is that I feel like they're getting a quality. I mean, they're getting quality cards, but it just feels like you're actually taking it to the next level. If you do sell your cards with Stampin' Up stuff that have got Stampin' Up stuff, we do have a stamp set that's part of our Angel policy, and it has a little, the little copyright circle and the Stampin' Up mark, so that you can actually put that copyright sticker essentially onto your card, so that you can be in, gotta hold my tongue right, you can actually be doing what we need to do for our Angel policy. What do you think, guys? Nice and quick and nice and easy. This is probably the quickest video that I've ever done for you with a card like that. Hashtag regret. I think I would have liked that one popped up a bit. That one in particular, these ones not necessarily, but that one would have looked really nice popped up. So that, taken away from a Stampin' Up event, where is my card that I was using as my sample that we did on the weekend? Oh, here it is up here. What do you reckon? Not bad, hey? So use things to your advantage. Take what you see and make it yours, and yeah, have some fun. All right. This one here, if I was to remake this one, oh, this is a bit of a sneak peek, guys. This is all coming soon, so you guys won't get this won't be available to customers until, I think it's September. Might be August, but actually I think it's August. But look at that ribbon. How nice is that? And if you're a demonstrator, however, end of July, I believe, maybe beginning of August, and then, oh, I don't know what dates, but we get things a little bit earlier. And this paper is really nice, but it comes with a couple of different tags, dies. This one here, I trimmed down to make it a little bit smaller. And look at these. How cool are that? It's 3 different colors. There's the really dark blue, a medium blue, and a white. Just so, anyway, I'm going to leave you with that because I've got heaps more things to do. This is the, oh, I'm going to say it so wrong. Our beautiful paper that is, let's say, Kintsugi or Gi paper from the suite that it goes with. Let me just pop this up here so that you can see me. Thank you all for joining me. I'm going to head off and make some more samples for the weekend and have a bit more of a play because this is the paper that all my ladies are getting on the weekend, and I want to have a variety of things for them to see. I look forward to playing with it a bit more, and I might show you some more stuff with it next week. Currently, all of our suites are buy one, get the cheaper one half price. So if you put 2 things in your cart and they're both part of a suite or a full suite even, you can actually get the second one half price. So if you decide you really like a really expensive suite and you stick another really expensive suite, the whole suite in there, then you'll get the second suite half price. If you like this Stampin die set in particular, right, what you'll do is if you put that bundle in there, you can get another bundle half price if it belongs to a suite. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping. All right, the link's below. If you are watching me on YouTube, please hit the subscribe. I like to see those numbers go up each week, which is great. And I'll catch you all next week. Toodaloo. Forgot where the end button was. Bye.